so we will go record, and I think everybody's muted. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So before Isogenics, I had a really cool life. I was not looking for Isogenics at all. I was traveling around the world as a corporate speaker, earning $500,000 a year as a speaker and having a really cool life. And I used to teach on preventing burnout in the workplace. And the reason I was teaching that was because I burned out in the pharmacy industry back in the 80s. Yes, I'm that old. And it was through natural therapies how I got well. But I left clinic after 10 years because I wanted to be able to help the masses. I wanted to help lots of people. So remember that kind of word for if you're going to go and talk to health professionals. But I wanted to be able to help the masses, not just who I could help in clinic. And so I took my work on the road, brain dumped what I was telling patients, and that became a series of 12 books. And I had a very successful career traveling the world teaching, mainly to burnt out corporates. And then 6 years ago, I was at a gig in Sydney, came off stage, and I was shown a couple of the Isogenics products. In fact, it was the Ionics and the Cleanse. Now, I'd based my whole career around designing programs that supported the adrenal glands like the Ionics does, and made tonics just like it, but that tasted so bad. And when I looked at it, I honestly went, wow, they're using the same herbs, nutritionals, exactly the same enzymes that I was prescribing for my whole career. And that's why I took it seriously. I then got angry because when I went home, I realized it and did my due diligence and realized it was network marketing. And I don't do those things. And those two products sat on my desk for nearly 3 months. I wouldn't even look any further. As soon as I saw it was network marketing, I would have nothing to do with it. And then when I said to my partner one day, I said, this is just getting stupid. Like, I won't even drink these things. I won't even try them because it's network marketing. So I made an appointment to go and see Sharon Walsh, the GM of Australia in those days. And Sharon was great. She didn't try to convince me or any of that kind of stuff. I just asked, and I really, in a not nice way, gave her a hard time. And she just went, here, here, here. And I thought, wow, okay, then she's all right. Met the corporate team, which was the staff of 11 in those days. And you got to remember too, she started talking about the business to me. Now, I was earning between $5,500 and $8,500 an hour as a corporate speaker. The highest paid income earner in Australia in those days was Dave and Irene Miller at just on $1,000 a week. And I'm going, you're trying to tell me I should do this and earn $1,000 a week where I earn $5,500 to $8,500 an hour? You're bloody dreaming. So that just shut me down to the business in an instant. I had no comprehension of residual income. And eventually she just said, look, try the products. If you don't like them, you get your money back. And I went, oh, okay, cool. So I was, put in the tree and got the products and off I went and tried it. And people just started to say, Jen, you've always had a lot of energy, but this has just gotten silly. What are you doing? And I wouldn't say anything for 5 months, didn't tell a person. And then I thought, this is just stupid. I'm eating this stuff. I need to, why aren't I telling people to go to the health food shop and get this and this and this? I thought I might as well do it. And I did. And now I was the product expert, had my naturopath hat on the whole time, and it just couldn't help myself. I knew everything about the products. And I made so many really, really, really big mistakes, which is why my cat's about to jump on me, just sharing. If you see a surprise cat jump on the screen, she's lining up for a jump. That's why I'm so passionate about teaching guys about not being the product expert, because my first 2 years I won top sponsor 2 years in a row, but it was not duplicatable in any way. All I'd done was buy myself another job. And in my first year I earned 17 grand, my second year 25 grand, my third year 55 grand, my fourth year 345 grand. The difference was at the end of 3 years, I stopped being a product expert, became duplicatable, did not win top and sponsor ever again. And I'm quite happy not to, because nowadays I want retention in my business. And so often people who are the top sponsors have got the shittiest retention in this company. And that's a reality. So I want to absolutely enroll as many as I can, but I'm very focused on retention because that's the power of this business. So that's kind of my story to date. I have earned over $1 million US, which is all fun. And I still do Isogenics part-time, which is something people don't believe, but it's true. I do it about 20 hours a week. So talking to you guys tonight, I've been on calls all night leading up to now, but I still do it part-time. So it's a pretty nice part-time income. I still run my other companies. And until this year, I had not prospected into any of my databases. I still just put myself out there and meet that many people in day-to-day life that I've never had to touch my own databases. And I've now, because we're going to open in England next year, I'm consciously building back into my aromatherapy and natural therapy databases. So don't think I've had an advantage being a naturopath. It's been my biggest disadvantage. So I think that's a long version of a 30-second story, but I think that gives a good overview kind of where I've been, Lisa.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant, and thank you so much for sharing that. And I think you know you touched on the fact that you had those really early years where you made the mistakes, but you obviously were still building on an income, which there will be a lot of people that can take heart from that. And you say that your biggest mistake, and I've heard that, and I have your numbers written down, and I share them to people, was about being that product expert. And is that advice that you can give to someone? Like, you obviously have, but it really is to actually take that hat off, right, and use the people around you as leverage.
Yeah, big time. So even me nowadays, I signed up a mate of mine today who's a doctor. I've known him since he was a 19-year-old kid for over 20 years. He worked for me in my aromatherapy shops when he was studying to be a nurse before he went on to become a doctor and a surgeon. And he's a stressed out, unhealthy doctor nowadays. And I know all the answers, but I said to him, mate, I'm just going to put you on a call with one of my friends who's been using the program, who was a similar demographic to him, age-wise and life levels. And I said, because he can explain this better than me on how you can practically use it in your day-to-day life. So I use three-way calls. Even though I know the answers, I do three-way calls. I just try to match people up with someone who would be relevant to their story where they're at. And that's made a big difference in my business.
Awesome. Thank you. And I know that that's something, I need to get better at. So that's beautiful. Obviously, you talk about retention. So can we talk into that? Like, what's your biggest thing? Like, what's your biggest thing on retention? Like, how do you build it?
So I've really only got this lesson this year. Like, really, 6 years. It's taken me 6 years to really get this lesson. And I've just gotten better and more comfortable at it. So in the University in Action color code personality things, I'm a red. I'm a fiery red. I am so driven. Nothing to do with Isagenix, just in life. I'm red. So driven, bullet point, and I lead. As a leader, I learned how to lead when I was in the army. And in the army, it's like, charge, let's go, and everyone just follows me. That doesn't work in Isagenix. It really doesn't. Because in the army, everyone's a positional kind of leader. And I have had to grow so much in myself and not just learn the theory of it, not just go to bloody self-development courses and stuff like that and learn it, but actually just put my ass on the line, make the mistakes, and then learn through it. The only way you can really learn how to do anything is a practical application. Studying it means nothing. You can study how to ride a bike, but at some stage you've got to put your ass on the line and get on the bike. So I started to understand that for me, while I was in rolling machine and all that kind of stuff, people were coming into my business and I was in production mode, win the derbies. I won 12 derbies in a row. I won 17 trips in Isagenix so far. I don't give a shit, actually, honestly, now if I never win another trip. Because again, I was at the time sacrificing the retention in my business to win a holiday, because I was bringing so many people in a way that wasn't duplicatable. I lost the retention. So I come home from the holiday and that part of my business had fallen apart, was no use. All I did was buy myself a job. So absolutely play for all the holidays, and trust me, I'm in Nicer Derby, but I'm not going to bust myself. I'm not going to burn a prospect to try and win a holiday, if that makes sense. So that's a big thing. I used to rush people a lot, and I would bring them in, not convince them, but I would still bring them in earlier than they were really ready. So that was a big learning for me. So I had to realize that to be in production, a book I really recommend everybody just reads is The 5 Levels of Leadership with John Maxwell. And I had the pleasure of meeting John Maxwell last year. I got to share the stage with him speaking in Las Vegas at a David Wood event. He's a statesman. He's a really cool guy. He's written over 80 books on leadership. just a cool man. But he talks about the 5 levels of leadership and about how level 1 is like when you go consultant in Isogenics, you're now a leader because you've enrolled 2 people and we give you a title. So that's like the thing in the army. Level 2 is kind of where you're building relationships with people. And this is where blues, this is where you're nurturing kind of people, all you people who change everyone's auto ships for them and do all that kind of stuff. You get stuck in this position, and that's where your business doesn't grow, because you spend your so much time getting ready to get ready and almost mothering your peeps. You don't get into production. Then there's me, and I'm a natural level 3 leader, so I'm in production and I totally forget to be in relationship. Level 4 is where you go and start growing people, developing your own leaders. And then level 5 is someone like a David Wood and an Oprah and a Jim Cooper, those kind of people out there in the world. So I was trying to skip to level 4 and develop people. The problem was I wasn't in relationship with them. And I had to slow down my business to build that depth and the solidity. That's a wrong word. That's not a real word. Anyway, to make my business solid so that I could naturally find the leaders that were going to come through. So my retention rate is up around 80, 90, drop the computer, 80, 90% nowadays. Where really seriously, I had one of the worst attrition rates. That's the fall off rates in the company for my first nearly 3 years. So I turned it around wildly. And it's the big thing is that I'm in a relationship with people, but at the same time, I make them independent at the same time. So does that make sense?
So, yeah. I'm mute again. Sorry, it does make sense. And I have to thank you, because we had this discussion in Auckland, and we were talking about the levels of leadership, and you gave me a bit of a foot up the arse, so that was really cool. But can you give us advice on how you push? I won't even use the word push, but how do you nurture somebody into independence? Like, is that you can't even say that you nurture someone into independence, but how do you make them? How do you grow them independent of you?
It's how you set them up is how they're going to continue. So right from the start, and this is all stuff I've had to learn. So originally I didn't nurture them at all. I just kind of went, here, go. And the other thing too is how people are brought in is what they duplicate. So I'm actually technically an office orphan, because the woman who showed me Isogenics wasn't in Isogenics and couldn't join Isogenics. She was a headhunter for the network marketing industry. So she showed me products and just said, you'd love these products, but she couldn't join me up. She's now joined my business. She quit at the profession, she quit being in a corporate as an independent industry kind of expert and joined my team a couple of years ago. But I was an office orphan, so I was placed in under a great guy who turns out we grew up in the same suburb together. But he was a salesman, so I duplicated what he did, which was nothing. He was there to go, yay, Jen, but nothing else. And I did that with my people. So I had to learn that that's what doesn't work. And there's no blame or anything. I'm responsible. My independence didn't let me reach out and ask for help. That was a big thing for me to learn, that it's okay to ask for help. Independent is strong and an absolute strength, but it's also my biggest weakness. So I've had to learn, or through it, we know the numbers. 1 or 2 out of 10 that you originally talked to will join. Out of 10 who join, you'll find 1 that will really want to rank advance and do something. We know it's 1 in 100 that will actually be a self-driven leader. So like a Lisa. Lisa, you're just going to naturally go, cool, what do I do? Done. And it's like me. We just naturally get into action. That's us. We're the 1 in 100. So while you keep trying to think you're going to try and bring your leaders through thinking they're going to be that 1 in 100, they're not statistically. You're going to have to find those other 5 out of the 100, which are going to be the ones that you can go, come on, do this. But right from the start, you still want to make them independent. And I learned, not from Jimmy Smith, from Michael Klaus. It's a game of chess. So with everything, people go, oh, I want this. We've got to get them to consultant, we've got to get them to manager and all that kind of stuff. But it's a game of chess. So I say, okay, so you're serious? Awesome. So bring me a list of your 20 hottest people within the next 24 hours and why and how we can approach them. And if they don't bring it back in the first 24 hours, I don't chase them. I don't. So I'm still, nasty is the wrong word, but it's that red. It's like that you want to be clear with me. I'm teaching from the start how to respect my time. So right from the start, I kind of set those barriers. And like I had a guy in my team sent me a big story on Friday, and I went, cool. So I rearranged my stuff Saturday morning to do a coaching call with him. And he didn't come on the call. An hour later, he sent me a message, oh, sorry, tied up. I went, that's great. We'll reschedule. Same deal. Rescheduled to Sunday night, did the same thing. And I went, no. That doesn't fly. And I actually made him wait 2 days before I fit him, even though I could have fit him in sooner. That's not cool. I'm going to teach him you can't drop everything. This is $1 million business that you're running. So you've got to set your time boundaries and the way you operate. I don't know if I'm making sense, but you want to set them up with all that kind of stuff, those rules, so to speak, and that's just going to fit your personality. But you've got to do that right from the start. And those of you who are the caring, nurturing, lovely, beautiful, wonderful Oprahs of the world, where you'll go off track is you're going to love on them too much and do everything for them too much. And that's going to be your biggest growing, is to be able to really let them go. But you want to guide people close until they get to 3-star, and then it's like, be free. It's time then for them to step into leadership. And I remember saying to Sharon Walsh, the GM at the time, so many times, Sharon, like, I don't want them to make the same mistakes that I made. And she said, Jen, they actually have to make the mistakes. And it's going to be really horrible, but they have to actually make the mistakes. You have to fall off the push bike to learn how to stay on the push bike. And that's been a real struggle for me, because I don't want people to have to make the same mistakes. But the reality is they just have to. So the only way they're going to do it is by you stepping back and seeing them screw up a call and do all these kind of things, but just let them know that you're there to help guide them and bring them back on track. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. Yeah.
But by 3-star, set them free, I reckon.
All right. So I've got there's some 3-stars here. So they need to say, be free.
Is there?
Free.
Well, there is. And so the other thing with that is, if I can just chuck something in there, when you're starting to get to 3-star, your natural leadership personalities want to start coming through. And what I've found in my team, and I've seen it flow through most of the teams in Isogenics, is that we all start thinking we know everything. Okay, and it's around that kind of rank. And it's something that's, and again, read John Maxwell's book, okay, because he really speaks into it well. And it's that title, 3-star, it's one of those big block points in Isogenics, that it's a huge milestone. It's a 6-figure income. And it tends to bring an energy with it where people go, woohoo, I'm 3-star. And yes, you've worked your bloody ass off and you deserve to go, woohoo, I'm 3-star. However, you have to grow into a 3-star's leader's shoes. And so often, and this is where we see crap start to happen in teams, which is all part of why you've got to bless and release, is that, and bless and release so people can grow into their leadership. But my team, my leaders all still know I'm absolutely here. I'll be a guest on calls and all that kind of stuff, but they've got to drive and make their mistakes as well. But I learned way before Isogenics that everything in life is a mirror. And this business will reflect every good thing back to you so fast and every crappy thing back to you even faster. But it's actually what's going on in you. So what I found around 3-star, we start to see lots of this kind of stuff. And it's lots of you'll see something, whether it's a leadership style or a coaching style. I went through the same thing. We see this kind of stuff in other people and we think, them, that, all this kind of stuff. And it starts getting messy. And a big part of being that leader and into that level 4 kind of leader, which is developing yourself and developing other people, is about getting that you're responsible for 100% responsible for what's in and not in your life. And that every single thing that's showing up to you in your life is a mirror of what's in you. So if you're going, wow, that person's being lazy and they're just in management mode, guess what? You're actually the one in management mode. If someone's doing that, well, they're a crappy coach. Well, guess what? There's an element of you that's still a crappy coach. But instead of going, point the finger, it's about looking inside you, and that's the growth stuff. That's the leadership, the true leadership growth. Humbling down and noticing when something's not going your way, especially within a team situation, because by the time you start getting to 3-star, your team is getting big enough that you're going to bring in all of the personality stuff, and all that shit's going to come. And this is where people either kind of implode and go, this is too hard and I'm out of here. And I've seen people walk away from multiple 6-figure incomes while I've been in this business. It's crazy, but it's because their egos get in the way. Instead of realizing that the only way you can be successful in Isagenix is actually nothing to do with you and your rank, not a thing. It's all about you just helping other people. So you've got to, I had to too, believe me, and it was a huge learning for me. You've got to park all of your shit to the side, and every time something comes up and your brain looks at something and you don't like it, guess what? It's actually in you. And go, okay, cool. So how can I look at that different? How can I help that person different? You know, because they're mirroring back what's going on. And the only way you'll grow through into that true leadership that will give you that stability in business and give you the freedom that you guys are after is to actually see life as a mirror and just take it on board. And some days it really sucks to have to look in that mirror and see what's really going on. But I think John Maxwell's book, I know, was a great help to me in that leadership kind of learning. And I think it'll be useful for you guys too. It is for anyone just in life.
Yeah, thank you. I think I've got that written down. So, I mean, I've got some words here, and I know that I've been on some other calls, and I know I see it in myself. I see that mirror in myself. In that, most days, what stops me, and you know, I'm putting this out for everybody, is the C word, right? It's the comparison. It's like, I'm not where I think I should be, or I see somebody else that maybe came in after me or whatever. And I know that you've spoken about comparison before. So you've been around, you know, you've been in Isagenix for 6 years, and I'm sure that you have seen people, just like you said, burn out, blow out, leave because of comparison. Like
Yeah, I have. And the thing is too, that I've had to realize that you don't know everyone's story, what their life was like before they came to Isagenix. And so I look at some people who've come in and they've just blitzed it in half the time and less, a third of the time of what it's taken me to go millionaire. But then if I be honest with myself, and this is the thing, and I remember Peter Kelly early in the piece in her journey saying that she was working 16 hours. We were at Isa Derby, Hawaii, like 4 years ago. And she was there. She had just started to emerge. And she was sharing that she was doing 16-hour days. And I went, fantastic. I don't want to work that hard. I just don't want to work that hard. And so how the hell can I compare someone who's going to go millionaire in 2 or 3 years when I really don't want to work that hard? That's it. So I had to that was a realization for me. So in my mind, I thought, I'm doing all this stuff. But again, I wasn't coachable and I wasn't duplicatable. And there was no way my business could, for the time I was putting into it, ever match something like they were doing. And Peter's just one of them. And there's, you know, Brett and Sammy, there's so many leaders who've worked. I caught up with Heidi and Lal this morning, and they worked way harder than I was prepared to do. I burned out back in my 20s, and I made a conscious decision back then in my life that I'd holiday 6 months a year and work 6 months a year. So how the hell can I expect my business to Isagenix or any business to ever compete with someone who's going to do 40 hours a week in it? It's not. But at the same time, and I've never been a recognition in anything kind of life-driven person, but I noticed it bite me when someone would race ahead, and it was like, this is bullshit. And initially at different stages, it never took me out of the game, but I had days of doubt. Like, can I really, I'm the one with all the bits of paper and all the credentials. How can someone who's, you know, done none of the education that I've done be able to bloody nail this shit? I absolutely had those days. I really did. And I just went, it's really simple, Jen. They talk to more people. At the end of the day, they're in production more than I am. They coach people better because they're coachable. I wasn't coaching people because I wasn't coachable. That was a mirror. I had to humble down and realize that I had to ask for help and just learn how to do this business. And when I did, I was able to turn it around. But God, talk about, this is the biggest pain in the ass personal development journey on the planet. It's not easy. It's really not easy. But if you promise to never give up and just be consistent, and that's all I encourage my team to do nowadays. I don't give a shit how fast they run. I want them to be consistent, because I've seen people run fast for a trip, win the holiday, and then crash for the next 3 to 6 months. That's not going to build you a solid business. So I just want people to find their pace they can do and just go consistent and don't compare. And at the end of the day, and even corporate. So corporate said to me, so I went, I sat down with Tracy from corporate when I went millionaire, and she said, so what's the next goal, Jen? I said, well, of course it's platinum. That it's inevitable. It's platinum. And I've got a choice. I could work my ass off and go platinum by Christmas, or I could enjoy my same life where I holiday 6 months a year and work 6 months a year and go platinum next year. In the scheme of my life, knowing that this business will last the rest of my life and will it on to someone else, which is another 40 or 50 years at least, is 6 months faster in my world worth the stress and the work, or just do it at my pace, which is go platinum in another 12 months instead of 6 months. I don't need the title for me. Now, other people, that's what they want. It's not for me. So I just went, totally, platinum's my next goal. But am I going to bust my ass and do it by Christmas? No. And 6 years on, I'm totally at peace with that. But in the early days, yeah, everyone runs a comparison. Just be real with the amount of work you're doing. If you were in a job where someone paid you like per hourly rate, be real. And when you be real with the amount of effort you're putting in for the return that you're getting, you'll realize that you can't compare. You're just not working as hard as someone else who's doing it another way. That's all. It's truth.
That was brilliant. Thank you. That was just brilliant. And you brought something up, and I was going to ask you a question, but you've kind of answered it anyway. And it was when you feel as if you're stuck with that person that does want to go ahead, but they just seem to be uncoachable, and they don't get the simplicity of the duplication. I mean, you said, well, if you can't, if it's coaching, are you coachable if you feel that somebody's not coachable? I guess for myself, sometimes I feel that may not be the case. So how do we deal with the sticky people who really are resistant to understanding the simplicity and the coaching of it?
You just have to set them free. And like Sharon said, you've just got to let them fall on their face. And it's really horrible to think that they may walk away from this where they could have just nailed this, but you can't drag them. You really can't. The amount of time that you'll go into trying to coach someone who's not coachable is you will lose 3 or 4 other people who could have been amazing. And at some stage, you've just got to realize you can't help them. And I just go, cool, hey, I'm here. You've got this. And I did it to a woman in my team the other day who is interesting. And I just had to say, fantastic. Because Derby's here, and we've run the same system for everyone else. She's in one of the Derby teams, not my personal Derby team, but a cool team. And like we've done with everyone, bring us your 20 people, and we'll go through and work out how to approach each of your 20 key people. And I rang her to do that call, and she went, Jen, I'm doing this and this and this, and I'm going to do this and that. I went, fantastic. You need to go and do that. Go and do it. Okay. So as you need the 3-way calls, when you get them to that point, book them. Absolutely. You know how to do all that stuff. And in the meantime, it's all yours. And I spoke to the leader of her team, Derby team, to just say, leave her be. I think she's going to screw it up from my experience. I hope she doesn't, but she's not coachable in the least at this time. And that's okay. Bless and release. I can only help the people who are ready to be helped.
Yeah. And because like you said, that you can't, And when I've experienced this, and I'm sure that you've experienced this way more than I have, but you want for things a lot more because you
Than
have,
they do.
yeah, because you've seen, it's almost like you've seen the light, right? And so like you want so much for what we have seen to be seen by others, and sometimes they don't want to open up their eyes, right? And it's dragging, like you said.
Yeah, and they don't open, and it's only our egos that we have to get off for us to open our eyes. But it's big. It's a big move, and I really get it. I really get it. But same as Sharon couldn't rescue me the first 3 years. She had to let me screw it up for 3 years before I learnt the lesson. So I have to let others screw it up too, and just be there to encourage them when they do, come out the other side. That's all I can do.
It's I mean, touching off the business side of things, but it's very much like when you have somebody coming in for the product experience who perhaps thinks that they know a better way with their program rather than following the science of it through, right? It's exactly the same. You can only be there to pick up the pieces on day 28. Is that correct? That's right?
Yeah. Well, it took me a year to do a program properly. The naturopath in me, I did the whole thing. And I used to tweak every single person's thing. I'd go, oh, yes, well, this is what the company says. But with my naturopath, and I used to say, with my naturopath on, let's just do this and this and this and this. Not a thing I did was duplicatable. It was all ego. And it wasn't a conscious, like, I'm greater. I was still trying to operate a duplicatable business for the masses in the way I would do it in clinic. It was never going to be duplicatable. And it didn't matter how much Sharon said, Jen, just follow the instruction sheet and keep it simple. I went, it's okay, I got it. I should have gone millionaire 3 years earlier. And it was only my ego that stopped me, like really stopped me. So, yeah, you'll learn. It'll just cost you money in your bank account. You'll still get there. And if I just want to share too about millionaire, the other thing is don't rush to do it, again, by screwing things up. Build a solid business. When you look at the average wage in Australia is like 50, 60 grand. I say let it take 10 years to earn your first million, because it would mean that you have still earned 100 grand a year residual income for 10 years. Let it take 10 years. Don't rush it, guys. This is something you're going to build for the rest of your life and will to your children. Do I build my isogenics business when I'm in my isogenics blocks of time as my absolute priority and build it with focus? For sure. But I'm not going to burn someone for the sake of, quick, let me just get that double PIB this week and push someone and have them drop off for the sake of skipping that little extra double PIB to know that they're going to be a user for life. It's a big difference. So it really is. It's a slow down to speed up, I think, to build a solid business.
Yeah. And do you feel that when you have, I just want to talk into that PIB mode. Do you feel that when people have that PIB mode, like they are hungry for that, 80, or they're hungry for the 160? Is it in you to know? Like, I think that people smell that. Does that make sense? Like, I think that people, that the person that you're prospecting can actually smell that kind of desperation. So do you feel that? Do you think that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. And that's when they start feeling sold to. And that's where you've actually convinced them to come in, which again has put money in your pocket shorter. I think the PIBs are so awesome that this company is so cool to give us those. And we didn't have them the first year that I joined. We didn't have any of that money. Where there's so many more bonuses you can earn nowadays. But the only real money, I think, is the residual income, because that's what network marketing is. The bonuses, all you've done is bought yourself a job. And it's cool that we have them to allow you to earn money while you build up the residual. But what we are and what will make the real change in your life is that predictable $200, $300, $400, $500 every single week coming in. That's the game changer, not the short-term bonuses that are here this week and then not here next week. That's the bonuses, the PIBs are the icing on the cake. And people, absolutely, they smell it. They know when you're pushing it Sunday night and you're hammering everyone to come on, join. I think that's dangerous to your business. Yeah, there's a point you've just got to go, totally cool, like totally cool. I had 4 lined up to join extra last week, but they were in that $25 thing, get the $25 off. And I got to the stage on Sunday that I was pushing, and I just went, totally cool. You know, I'm here when you're ready. And 2 of them joined up, one last night and one today. They missed out on $25. In the big scheme of things, it's nothing. But it wasn't worth me pushing them last week to have them not totally happy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it absolutely does. And I guess I'm coming to the end of my question. So if anybody else wants to ask a question, pop it up in the chat. But what would be your biggest piece of advice for somebody who is brand new to sharing? Like, so there are new people on here who have really only just kind of, thought about actually sharing their experience forward. So what would be your biggest piece of advice to brand new sharers?
I would be what we call ignorance on fire, which is just be that excited person who's loving the products. And when your friends say, well, what is it? Say, I don't know, but I know I can get Lisa on the phone she'll explain it better than I can. That's it. And say, Lisa, what tool do I send to this person? Ask for help. Plead ignorance and ask for help. But keep that excitement. And if you've lost that spark, Eric Worre talked about it at Celebration about success comas with people. If they've been in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is, that they can have a success coma where they just kind of lost that spark. Go back and do a 30-day program again and get that. This program really, really, really does rock. Like, bring that natural excitement back to you and just be that ignorance on fire. However, then play dumb. One of the coolest things you'll do is get people on 3-way calls as quick as you can, or 3-way Facebook chats, whatever it is, so that you're showing them straight away that you don't have to know everything to get started. If I could have my time again, I would do it differently.
Oh yeah, I would too. And I love that because Eric Worre at Celebration said the same thing. He's like, the best time to build your business is when you've got no idea what you're doing.
No idea. No, then people get clever and overcomplicate it. It's so good to not know what you're doing in this business. It's crazy.
Yeah. And, I mean, I've got to speak into a little bit of that about, the verbal vomiting because, there's when you're around a little bit, people say, oh, just be careful with the verbal vomiting. But then I'm like, but I think sometimes when you verbal vomit, you're just so full of excitement that people get brought in by that because you're excited. And then you get told not to verbal vomit. So then you get really cautious of what you're talking about. Yeah, right. And then it kind of goes, oh, hang on a second, I better not say too much. So when you don't say too much, you don't say anything at all. And it's like,
I think you can verbal vomit. Well, not that verbal vomit, but you can have that excitement about you and just go, I really don't know. That's what's so cool. I just feel good. I'm sleeping better. I'm not crappy anymore. My partner doesn't want to kill me and the kids are happy. I don't know. I poo properly, I pee properly, I've got energy. I'm good. And it's just like, and they go, how's it work? Say, I don't know. But I know Lisa, this crazy chick who showed me to do it, she'll just let me get her. Serious. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just happy.
Yeah.
And then you shut up.
Yeah.
And then they'll either buy into it or they won't. And if you leave that void, nature hates a void. So if you rattle off what it is and then you just leave it, take a breath. And if they kind of go, oh, well, that's nice. They haven't bought into it. Don't do that. Oh, can I send you a link? No, you're being a dickhead. Don't do it. You're being a nice idiot. Just go. If they do buy into it, go, wow, I could really do with some extra sleep too. And that's where you go, well, you should try this thing. And they'll go, what is that? I don't know. Lisa will tell you about it. Or let me send you some information. But if they don't buy in, don't be an idiot. We're not that kind of company. Don't go, well, can I? Oh, I punched one of my girls driving in the car with one. Actually, Heather, she knows I share the story. Now, she's a blue. She mothers everyone to bits. And we were driving in New Zealand after the last ice uni or something over there. And we were driving down country and she had someone she'd been mothering, trying to get them to follow up. And I said, look, let's just do something different. So I'm driving the car. I said, look, click a video right now. She said, they don't answer my text. I said, well, don't send a bloody text. Mix it up. And I said, shoot a video right now. I said, all you're going to do is going to go, hey, was just thinking about you. I'm in New Zealand. Look, it's raining. It's always, show the windscreen. Look, yep, it's raining. It's always raining here. Crazy. Anyway, just wanted to say I was thinking about you. See ya. That's it. That's all you're going to do. So she did. So she recorded it. She goes recording it. I'm in New Zealand. I was just thinking about you. Look, it's raining. It's always raining in New Zealand. Yeah, life's great. Yeah. So I personally messaged me. I went, punch. I said, shut up. What are you doing? Don't do that. You didn't leave a void. Like, you gave them no space. You just scared the shit out of them the way you did with your text. Stop it. It took us 3 times to shoot the same thing without her going, and. Just, you've got to leave a void, guys, and they'll either buy in or they won't. And then if they don't buy in, if they don't get back to you, that's where, Alan Hilsinger talks about it best, where he says, you send a message and say, hey, look, I just want to apologize. If I've offended you, I'm really sorry. I'm just excited about what I'm doing. You haven't gotten back to me. You might be really busy. And if that's the case, it's totally cool. Like, and if I have offended you, I just want to apologize. I know this mightn't be for you. I'm just excited. It's all cool. So that then they've got an out. Don't hassle them. Don't be a dick. Like, really, don't be a dick. So, and just mix things up. Like, make it fun. And I've learned from the young kids to send gifts, the little gifs and emojis and all that. I just do that kind of shit for following people up nowadays. And it's so much more fun. And people love it. I get the responses. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling, but did that answer the question?
Yeah, I love it. I love actually leaving the void, and instead of being the steak knives with that,
don't do it.
So, yeah.
You don't like it done to you, so bloody don't do it to someone else.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah. And I think that's where we do have that excitement, but we're not leaving the void, we just don't at all. We just go straight in, bang, as soon as we see there's like a little, I'm saying me, right? I'm not saying we, this is me. As soon as there's like you capture on that little need, you just like bang, like straight in there. So yeah, I love it. That was awesome. Really good. So
no, I've learned it's that breadcrumb trail. It's sending an emoji or those kind of things. That's or a GIF or something. That's one of the breadcrumbs in the trail. Let it take 20 little thingy funny follow-ups. I don't care. I've slowed down so much. But that's why my retention's gone through the roof. I don't rush anyone to sign up nowadays, which means I have to pop more in. I always go for my double PIB a week. I average 1 to 2 sign-ups every single week, even 6 years on. I don't do the 10s and 11s a week. I choose not to work that hard. But I've got a solid business with a really high retention. That's the difference.
Awesome. That was I'm another mute. The breadcrumb trail. Who talked about that? Jason Liu talked about that. Yeah,
he did that really well. Yeah, he did. Love it.
Really, I'll need to find something like that and let people know about the breadcrumb trail. So that's really good. Thank you for bringing that in. And yes, I do love your emojis and I do love your gifts because you answer back in them all the time. I'm like, she's really cool. She just sends me like pictures.
And nowadays there's the Bitmoji, B-I-T, I'll write it in, B-I-T-M-O-J-I, and you actually make the avatar looks like you. So yes, mine's the little dyke with glasses. You design it to make it dress and look like you.
Oh, really?
And it's in all these amazing different get-ups, and they've just been gold.
Oh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it takes 5 minutes to set it up, but it that kind of shit works. So why not?
Okay, I'll have to find that. So, thank you so much. It's been, we're not coming to an end. If there's people that want to jump off mute and come in and ask Jen a question, please do that while we probably have her for about 10 more minutes. And
Yep.
it was just, you are just seriously so down to earth. And I say it all the time, but that's the biggest thing about this company is that we are surrounded by the greatest of people, that whenever there's a need, you can reach up to somebody. And there is no other business, I would hope that this is the same across the network marketing industry. This is the only company I've ever been involved with, but this is the greatest thing about Isagenix is that you can look upwards, downwards, sideways and be supported so, so greatly. Kind of like without you needing anything. Does that make sense? Like, you know, like there's no
There's
need,
no hooks.
no hooks. You know, so
No
yeah,
hooks. It's all clean. That's the thing. I know if I help you, it just helps the whole of Isogenics grow.
yeah.
It's like, it's just the way it is. I love it. And it's the coolest community. I love it. I've never been in a network marketing company before because I'd never found one that got on my ticks. But from what I understand, most companies, they don't work cross-line or anything at all. I would not be allowed to be on your call.
Oh.
And for me, as a peace-loving brown rice hippie, that ain't not going to fly. So I couldn't work with that kind of company anyway.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
But if anyone's got any last questions for me, I'm out of here in 10 minutes, guys. This is your time. Pick my brains. I'm here. What do you got?
Come on, guys. Let's go. Come on. You've got
Don't
to
be shy. I promise. Come on.
Come on.
I can only help you if you ask.
Oh, my God, Jen, they've all gone shy.
I've got one.
They've gone shy.
Hi.
Yeah, who's that?
It's Emma. I was
G'day,
just
Emma.
wondering, like, I find it really hard to inspire my associates to want to share. What's your top tip for that?
Oh, really simple. Just get them a mind-blowing product result so that they naturally want to. And then also realize that 85 of every 100 will never share.
So just keep going.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So I had someone in my downline who's enrolled 30 odd people and has got like 2 consultants, and said, you know, and is just in management mode, spending all their time trying to get those ones to go to consultant. I'm going, statistically they won't. 1 in 10 are going to go to consultant. Guess what? Go and enroll more people. That's it. Susan Sly enrolled, what is it? Her numbers are like, she enrolled 73 people before she got one to do something. It's crazy. We know statistically 1 person out of 100 will be a natural runner, like someone like Lisa and I. That's it. And you might get to 99 enrolled before you find that person. We know that 5 out of 10 will be, come on. And they'll go, okay, good. And they'll go. They'll be duplicatable and coachable. And then you're going to have about another 5 or 6 that are going to be like really hard work. Come on. And they won't want to earn more than like 50 grand a year. Okay? They'll get their products paid for. They will drive you nuts that they don't want to go past consultant to manager. I've got people who've been consultants for 6 years and they're really happy. They earn their little bit of money a month and they're really happy. I can't drive them to executive. That's not their thing yet. It might be one day, but I can't push them and drag them. And I know that 8 out of 10 are never going to do a bloody thing. Fantastic. I have got product users who've been in my business for 6 years. But you know what? It's their BV that comes in every single month that keeps me cycling. So I love my 8 out of 10, which is the 80 out of 100 that will never earn a cent. They just want to eat the products. So stop trying to put people who aren't ready to go to consultant. You can't inspire them. The only thing that will inspire them is for them to have an amazing product result and keep enrolling enough until you find the ones who are going to jump up and go, wow, I had an amazing product result and now I'm going to share that with other people. Because some people have amazing product results and will never share it with anyone. It's just the way it is. Does that help?
Definitely heaps. Thank
All right.
you.
That's all right. Cool.
I think I always love John O'Patch shared something at Top Achievers, and he said, and I think this goes across the board for everybody that comes into your business or into your team. He said, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But what you can do is be patient for when it's thirsty.
Yeah, exactly. And people, you never know when people's circumstances are going to change at all. And really from a week to a next. So I think of a girl in my team, Susan. She's a great, great woman. She lives out in country New South Wales. She's been just my most predictable, consistent, and she buys like 500 BV a month. She has got so much money sitting waiting to go ka-ching when she's ready, but she's not ready yet. But every month I'll send her a little Bitmoji. I send her, hey, Susan. I just keep in contact. I'm there. She totally knows I'm there for when she's ready. That's it. I love on her where she's at. So one day her circumstances may change. And boy, she will get paid such a nice amount of money for going consultant because she's got so much money. But at the moment, it's not a thing. We've got people in our team who would get paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, ka-ching, when they go consultant. 2 people. Do you know how hard it is to not want to thump them? To go, 2 people. Enroll someone and give the products away. It's 2 people to earn thousands of dollars. But it's not people's motivator. It's okay. Just loving them where they're at. So really quickly, question is, what if you feel like you don't know many people? That's okay. I go to a different hairdressers every single month and get my hair cut. That's how I meet people. I consciously get out of my own way to meet people. I have had some really crappy haircuts, but guess what? I don't care. I've also earned $1 million. It's okay. And your hair grows out in a month, so it's cool. So how do you meet people? You know, be honest with yourself. How many people are in your telephone, and have you contacted every single person in your telephone? Not prejudging them. And if you haven't, well, that's the place to start. They were nice enough to get into your phone at some stage, so they're nice enough to talk to about this. Does that help? Just don't prejudge people, and go and get haircuts somewhere different every month. I've had some rippers. Holy shit, I've had some rippers.
That's good. I like the prejudging. I love that. I like you never know what's happening in somebody's mind. You never know what's happening in someone's body. You never know what's happening behind someone's closed doors. But yet we make an assumption that Isagenix is not for them.
Yeah, and the thing is, at the end of the day, Isagenix is a product company. Totally take the business out of your brain. The only way we build this business is by helping people with their health. Nothing else. That's it. When they feel great, they will then sell the products to their friends. That's it. We're a product company. You're not trying to find business builders. Carolyn Rodriguez, who's one of the Canadian millionaires, taught me that early in the piece. Or probably, I don't know, second or third year. She came and did Isaderby Thailand, which is probably 5 years ago. And she said she doesn't look for business builders. She looks for visionaries. She just wants product users who can catch the vision. Stop looking for business builders. People are busy. You're going to talk to a small business owner about setting up another business, they are not going to be interested. Talk about them getting better sleep, more energy, less cranky, and they'll be in. And when they naturally get a great product result, we know that 2 out of 10 will be open to getting their products paid for. And then they may or may not go down and earn 50 or 100 grand or $1 million. Don't put expectations on them. Don't project, and don't go, I'm sure you've all had it. Some of you think, oh, this is the one. I'm done. Millionaire this month. I'm good. They're going to do it. No, they're not. Because what I find is the ones who come in and go, I'm going to do it. I'm going to earn $1 million. I'm going to do this. Guess what? They don't. They're the ones who get disillusioned and burn out because you sell a vision to them that's not realistic. Okay? Reel it in, guys. Keep it real with real timelines. We're a product company. We help people get an amazing result so that they naturally want to share it. That's all we do. Who's ever referred anyone to a movie? Yeah? Ever told someone you've got to go to see this movie? Yeah? Who's ever gone, you've got to go to this restaurant? It's so good. This is no different. That's all it is. You eat the products, and if you love it, you share it with your friends. It's the same. It's food. All you're doing is sharing the food that you like with other friends that you like. That's it. And strange hairdressers who give you interesting haircuts. That's it. And I've learned from you young ones, Lisa, people like yourself, I used to add everyone on Facebook nowadays. 3 of the chicks who popped up Thursday night last week, I did a post, and you can all follow me on Facebook. Don't try and friend me. I'm full of friends. But you can follow me if you want. I'm not the Facebook queen. I'm learning. Lisa's one of the Facebook queens. But I did a post that I was in a hurry, and I just thought, shit, I've got to put something up. And I did the $25 special, hey, here's the special. But guess what? Here's the bonus. You get me to coach you. I got 3 people out of that within the first hour that I didn't even know were following me, who just went, wow, I actually want that. And it's like, you don't know what's really happening out there in that. So listen and learn from people who've got this kind of thing nailed. And Lisa's, without a doubt, is one of the queens of Facebook. So you've got one of the coolest, I think, solid coaches in Lisa, as particularly around social media. So listen to her. Be bloody coachable and listen to her. You've got it nailed. If you guys just listen to what she can give you. Because I listen to Lisa. That's the dead set truth. I I stalk Lisa to see how she works her Facebook page, so I learn truth. So if I can, you can too. Yeah.
Jen, I've got a question. When you are ensuring that people have a great product experience, how do you do that with so many people in your team, in your downline, and how do you set them up to begin with to have a great product experience?
I'm not at my desk because I had my appendix out last week, and I live on my lounge chair at the moment because I still can't bloody do anything. But I have, if you saw my office, I have Post-it notes everywhere. I have reminders that pop up on my phone. Literally, I set alarms every day. In my calendar, I've got alarms. I've got 3x5 cards. That's where I've had to learn to coach people properly. It's not naturally in me. So I have got reminders on reminders on reminders now to remind me to go, hey, check in on this person. It's the only way I've been able to learn how to do it. And that's it. And so it's not phone calls. I just do hey, what's going to be, I know you're busy. What's going to be the best way for me to communicate with you? So like Nino, this doctor who I signed up today, I said, mate, I know you're really busy. He said, look, Facebook Message is fine. So guess what? I send him little pictures and things already. And that's it. It's just, I manage them that way. I want to know when their first cleanse day is. I used to do all spreadsheets and all that kind of shit, and I just got myself so messed up. It's really weird, but Post-it notes, that kind of thing seems to work for me. And setting alarms on my phone, that works for me. Do I have a lot of alarms set? Yeah, but I've just got it on repeat to remind me to check in with them each week and stuff like that.
Do you still do a Zoom call? I remember ages ago you spoke at a Super Saturday for us in Melbourne, and you said that you would get them on a video call, and you would draw out you plus 2, them plus 2, and then take them through their back office on a call. Do you still do that at the beginning?
I got off this call because I'd just done that for a brand newbie. Okay. So it's how I run them through their back office. Yeah. But I don't do it on Zoom. I do it on Facebook Messenger nowadays. Yeah. We have an app. So she's on her computer and we're talking on Messenger, and I'm on my phone on Messenger, and I'm driving her around her back office and doing all that new associate checklist stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right, perfect.
Yeah. I follow the new associate checklist, but I'm a visual, so where possible for an important call like that, I don't do it on a telephone call. I do it because video is there nowadays. It never used to be in the old days. I do stuff like that on a quick Facebook Messenger video or FaceTime. Yeah.
I can really relate to what you said about not being a natural coach, because like for us, we're very driven Reds as well, and it's very difficult for me to go into caring, nurturing mode. Right?
I'm a cold-hearted bitch. No, I'm not. I get it.
I find that hard. And at one point in our business, I went, nope, that's it. I'm not doing the coaching. They can do it. They can watch the videos. They can do, and we found that was to our detriment. So all I have is like a list of our new cleansers and the date that I've followed them up, and I just keep going back to that every
there you go.
Making sure they're okay.
There's no way you'll grow your business because you're a producer, the same as me. You're a red producer. You will not grow your business until you get into a relationship with them.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what that was a lesson for us, wasn't it? Yeah. Massive. Yeah. And now I do what I took from you from that Super Saturday was I do a Zoom call and share the screen and then show them their back office and stuff. So that's worked for us really well.
Yep. Whatever works for you is cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Thank you for sharing that.
That's all right. My pleasure. And I think we've done our time. I just want to really see, there's one quick lesson here for someone, one quick question. For someone on the program that's on antidepressants, how do you have the chat with your doctor about the person might be able to get off the medication? You just say to the person, we can't make any therapeutic claims. If you want to try the program, you might want to have a chat to your doctor. There's nothing, you can go to isagenixhealth.net and search antidepressants. There's nothing that's going to clash with an antidepressant. So if they've got a concern, ask them to see the doctor. Otherwise, there's nothing there that's going to clash. There's only actually one medication that clashes with anything to do with isagenix, and that's warfarin, the blood thinner warfarin. And you can see that in isagenix. Go isagenixhealth.net, go and search warfarin. You'll see it's just ageless actives. There's one supplement someone can't have. Otherwise, there's no clashes of, no contraindications of any medications. So, but if someone's doing it, you say, look, well, feel free to run it past your doctor. Knowing that most doctors have got no idea what this shit is. And if they choose to not do it, they choose not to do it. You can't drag them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But you cannot make any therapeutic claims. Be really mindful and careful around that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. You are a superstar. I think there was amazing things in there. There were so many nuggets in that call, and let's just give Jen a massive round of applause and big kisses and hugs. And
my pleasure, guys.
Go and work out our bit emojis and go and send you one.
Yeah, I can't wait to see yours. Yeah. Yours will have long hair. It won't look like a dykey thing like mine does.
And I'm actually really looking forward to getting into the 5 levels of leadership and getting into that book. So again, thank you so much. And if you're not following Jen on Facebook, please do that. You have the most amazing posts. Everything that you write is raw and it's real and it's from the heart. And we should be so lucky that we're involved in this amazing company where we get to rub shoulders and hold hands with beautiful visionary leaders. So thank you very much for 6 years ago, putting your ego aside and saying yes and leading the way for so many more people to come into this. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Just the thing with my Facebook too, know that I consciously create posts that I know you guys can all share to help build your business.
Yeah.
So I did a post tonight about sleep, and all it does is talk about that you've got to get on some kind of adaptogen program. It's a perfect door opener. Share that post. There's third-party credibility, and when people comment that they've got crappy sleep, you talk to them about Isagenix. I do those kind of posts at least once a week that you can all share. They're generic, just use my services. I do that kind of stuff just for you. So follow on either Jen Jeffries or Jennifer Jeffries, either one.
Awesome. Brilliant.
Otherwise, easy guys, great to be of service.
Thank you so much. And I hope you get better and you recover well and your cat treats you well and stops trying to get on your computer.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll see you later, guys. Good night.
See ya.
Bye-bye.